You are listening to the Young Black Travelers podcast, Black voices conversing in experiential travel, dedicated to a global community of travelers. So be bold, be inspired, be spontaneous. We are YBT. Hey everyone, we are at our season closer.
Woo! Yay!
We made it.
We made it.
Wow, this is season 11.
Yes.
Amazing. Wow.
Congrats to us. Congrats to the team.
Wow,
High five.
podcast,
Yes.
11 seasons
Yes.
in. Wow.
It's just
amazing.
It's really truly been an amazing season. It's been accumulation of 10 seasons of like awesomeness, but this one was very special, and when I get to the topic you'll understand why. But before we get into the topic, any trips that you have done during this year?
Okay, so far I did local.
Okay.
Actually, I'll start off in February. I got to do my first cruise, which was
Okay.
amazing. I really enjoyed it. I could see why people cruise, right? Like we went on Carnival. We did Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. And I really feel like it was just how you wake up thinking what you're gonna do to make yourself happy that day, like how you're gonna spend your time. Like everything was available, food, activities, and so I really had a good time doing that, and I enjoyed Curacao. Like it was beautiful, like the vibe, the relaxation, like the cafe, like cutesy, like the
Curacao is
streets.
really nice.
It's pretty.
It's very pretty, and I was like, Aruba, okay. We keep talking about Aruba.
They say Curacao is more cultured
Yes.
than Aruba.
Yes.
I've been to Curacao.
Yes.
I haven't been to Aruba, but that's what I've heard.
I agree with
Curacao
that.
is the more cultured country in the ABC Islands. Though Aruba may have the better beaches, but
Okay.
Curacao has good beaches too. They may be a little bit rocky or corally at times, depending on the beach you go. But Curacao is more cultured.
Right. No, and I definitely felt that. Like we stopped at like an environmental place that they talked a lot about the coral and how it's endangered and like reef building, and so they had a lot of that, but that's the like local people and the community and the arts and them trying to integrate that. And I was like, I just felt the home feel to it, which I really enjoyed. So that was really fun. And then recently I did a trip to Austin.
Okay.
I kept it in the States. That was my first time in Texas in general.
Congratulations.
This ain't Texas.
Hey.
Oh, I'm
Yes.
going down. Beyonce don't sue us.
But it was fun. Like Austin is a vibe. Like the youth, it's youthful, a town, but yet a city. The food was good. I met great people. The music scene, like it was all there, and I feel like it's a good time for if you want to go and experience that. So that's what I have been up to so far.
Okay. Did you try Terry Black's?
I did.
Okay. How was that? Oh no.
The barbecue was good. I would say the sides not so much. I felt like they could have did a little bit better, and because now I feel like so much tourists goes there, they're not taking that time with the food as probably before, and I really felt like that was lacking flavor wise. I was like, and it's super expensive where I feel like you could find local barbecue for a little cheaper.
They got a name.
They got a name.
That's why.
She asked me to go to Terry Black, so clearly
Yeah.
They have a name.
they have a name. People know about Terry Black.
And I wish that places, when they get that reputation and they get a name, that they keep the substance, because that's what makes you keep going back, right? For the food, like keep the food, the core of what you're doing. Don't compromise on that.
In a perfect world.
In a perfect world.
Yeah.
And some do, like they're not so much about profit. They're like, they cater to their customers and making sure that they're providing the best food experience. So that's what I thought. So I felt like I had a better barbecue elsewhere.
Okay, you've been traveled. So how about you, Asshur?
Well, I think since the last podcast episode, because we talked about the wrap up from Amsterdam to France to Belgium. After then, I went to 2 countries so far. I guess we're now in spring here in the U.S. And so I've gone to the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. And I would say, well, 2 destinations because Puerto Rico is part of the U.S. Interestingly, and though I felt Puerto Rico is quite its own country,
Right.
when you
Which
land,
it is.
Yes.
It's its own country, but still the common.
it's not its own country. It's a part of the U.S.
It's part of the U.S., but I mean, it's a country like geographically.
It's a territory.
Yeah.
It is, so it is a U.S. territory, and so it's not. They have U.S. passport. So that's the interesting point, right? Like Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory, which is short of a state because they are deciding not to join the union because they do have all the benefits that Americans do, while still enjoying the benefits that they have as well.
Correct.
But I didn't have this perspective until I landed there. I was like, wait, these people, they speak Spanish. You're on the plane, you're hearing 2 languages. You land in Puerto Rico, you're hearing Spanish. There's a full culture.
Right.
And then so you're like, am I still in America? But you're like, yes, I'm in America, right? But Puerto Rico was interesting. It's also very expensive, I would say, in comparison to other places I've gone. So like the DR or Colombia, I think Puerto Rico was one of the most expensive. And I think the prices has gone up substantially since COVID because people would be like, how much did you pay? I was paying $10 for a drink.
Wow.
I pay in New York about $15. And some places you may find 10, happy hour 7. But in Puerto Rico, it was normal to pay about $10 for a drink, which is crazy, right? So, but Puerto Rico, it's nice, right? It's a really nice, quick getaway. And then also the Dominican Republic, DR. These are all quick getaways from the U.S. and the Dominican Republic in itself. And I'm going to bring the guys on to have that conversation.
Can't wait for that.
So we've been having these guys trips over the last few years. A group of friends who are male, and then we go and we travel, and honestly, they've been eventful.
Yeah.
Every guy's trip has had its share of events, and I actually love travel with these guys because I think when I look at it, it's kind of like a reality TV show.
If you watch Asshur K, it is a reality TV show.
But this time I actually didn't vlog because so much happened, so much was happening. I left my chip. It was a lot, but there are clips out there. I know one of the other guys, he's a vlogger as well, and so he vlogged. But nonetheless, from start to finish, this trip was like a reality TV show.
Now we
episode.
Can't wait to hear
Because from beginning to end, and we're gonna sit down and we're gonna talk about this. But I think long story short, we went for a bachelor's weekend, and we got in an accident, a very bad accident. Car turned over, totaled, but we all walked away and without a scratch. But I think the advice we're gonna leave with you here from this podcast episode is make sure you wear your seatbelt.
Yes.
Seatbelts save lives because the truth is, I'm telling you, the car flipped about twice, came off the road, flipped twice. All of us had our seatbelts on.
Okay.
And all of us had our seatbelts on. I think it was by happenstance because there was this. God is good.
Yes.
We were talking earlier about doing an episode where we're going to talk about the goodness of God. His hand was literally all in this because the truth of the matter is the sound was coming on before we drove off. The driver was like, so I was like, okay, we should put on the seatbelts. Put on the seatbelt to see if the sound could stop. Literally, okay, they kept it, the sound didn't stop, but they kept the seatbelt on. As we are driving and now the accident happens, everybody was strapped in. Yeah. Everybody was strapped in. No one went out of place. And I could imagine if those guys in the back especially weren't strapped in.
Right.
There were two bigger guys in the back. They would have been pushed forward. It would have
Would have been
caused a
bad.
whole
Right.
bigger issue. So everything is good. Just got to figure out the whole thing about getting the car fixed through insurance, which insurance will. But just got to get a few documents from them about the estimates of the car. But we keep talking about travel cards.
Yeah.
I booked everything on the Capital One Venture X card, and it is that card that will pay for all of that damage.
Wow. Okay, that's a lot, but God is good.
God is
I'm
good.
glad you're okay.
Wow, yes.
Yeah.
And you're here, you're here to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yes,
Here to
the
talk about
epic
it.
trip indeed. a lot happened.
By the way, let me say, and there were two accidents, like in DR2.
What?
Wow.
DR was crazy. Like it seemed,
That must be
I'm a Christian. It seemed like the enemy was out to get either me or us all, because on day 2, and just knowing when you're driving in DR, the highways are nice, but in the night it is very dark. It's dark. And so that's probably part of why everything happened. But also, aside from that, we got a new car. The next day, we're driving on the local roads, trying to get a police report. Couldn't get the police report because of their craziness, whatever. Coming back from the police station, we're driving. All I heard was pop. And I'm like, okay, so what is happening now? Like, what happened? So I looked to my right, and then all I saw, as I asked, what was that? All I saw was a guy flinging off of a bike.
Whoa.
And sparks flying.
Wow.
I'm like, wait, did he just hit the car?
Yes.
And he's going.
Wow.
Wow.
Yes,
That's
DR
crazy.
was
Yes.
crazy.
DR
Wow.
for you is a very special place because I don't know. I remember you came back from DR the first time. You're like, oh, I have no footage, and then you went back to DR. You still have no footage. So now it's like, there's no footage. Have you ever been there?
But a lot takes place there.
I don't know. DR is there a
But
time
but
charm?
but no, but a lot of people have been saying of crazy things have been happening in DR. Crazy things has been happening. Everybody, because even when I posted about the accident, one of my girls, we went to Cuba together, and Waldo was like, she had an accident in DR. Same accident I had, car flipped and all of that, but with her is, I don't know if she was wearing a seatbelt, but she broke her neck and now is in terrible pain. Because I've heard of, and it's the same thing.
Okay,
now
that missing person. Remember, there's a new case of a missing person in DR now. You're not paying attention to the news.
No,
this girl
no.
is literally recently. They still haven't found her. She's missing in DR.
She's from
From
the
spring
US.
break. From spring, she went for spring break, and she's now missing.
I mean,
But we do hear of those type of like Mexico, DR, like missing stories from like spring break and things of that sort from the Caribbean island. But that's just unfortunate though.
Unfortunate, yeah.
but I'm glad you're okay.
Yes.
Glad you are okay. But thank you for sharing that story. And I know there's going to be more podcast episodes about these stories. For me though, I have not been anywhere. I have not been international. I am building my credits. I am going to travel somewhere.
Yes. Where are you going?
Well, okay. So I'm going to St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Yay!
Yes. So, and actually I had a conversation with my best friends. He's Honduran. And I asked him about the Garafunas because what I remembered back in the days with one of our podcasts with Melissa Knowles, who's very good, there was a conversation about the Garafunas and how they originated mostly from St. Vincent. So I was like, okay, have you heard about them? He's like, yeah, of course I heard about them. They're more in the north, they have a whole community. So and he's fair-skinned. So I did not know that one, he was that aware about communities that were not of him, and two, that he was excited to talk about it. So maybe I should stop by Honduras and Nicaragua and Belize because there seems to be a whole connection.
Yes.
Make it a whole like cultural tour of Garifuna.
Of the Garifuna culture.
Yes.
Culture, that's crazy. Because I was having the conversation with Asher.
Oh, yes.
Exactly that outline. St. Vincent, Honduras believes
Yes. And Ecuador.
that I applied for. Yes.
Yeah, so those conversations that get sparked in travel,
Mhm.
this is the excitement
Right.
that we've been having as of late
Right.
with our tribe.
Right.
And if you have not joined yet, we're going to give you an opportunity at the end of this podcast episode.
To
But
join.
this is a special shout out to them. This is what our recording is all about, and talking about how to find your tribe and build a Black community within the travel space. So this is such an exciting introduction, but I'm so happy to touch upon what we came across for the past few months when we come back from our break. So stay tuned, everyone.
Stay tuned.
What does YBT tribes mean to you?
YBT tribes mean to me a sense of family and community. Being with like-minded individuals who share the passion for love of travel, friendship, and the zeal of wanting to know what is next and to venture to various communities and doing activities together.
The Young Black Travelers Tribe to me is a community of Black and brown creatives who enjoy traveling the world, eating new foods, meeting new people, and seeing the world through their own lens. This is a community where we all are like-minded and enjoy using our passport.
What does the YBT tribes mean to you?
The YBT tribes to me mean a strong sense of community, empowerment, opportunity, just being able to travel, connect with other like-minded individuals, networking, finding similarities in everything you like, love to do, and just basically enjoying life in the world.
When we are back from our break, man, what a lovely conversation. Your DR is crazy. I hope it works out for you when you go back there. But
If I go back.
if you go back,
Maybe third time.
third time's the charm, maybe. But all that to say, our main conversation, like I hinted before, is on all the activities that have been happening as of late. As some people know, we do have a community chat on WhatsApp for our Young Black Travelers Tribe. And so far, we have so many great events that's been happening. And we've just been connected with so many people that have shared their own stories, but more importantly, how important it was that they were able to find this chat in the first place. Like, they were looking on Facebook, they were looking at Instagram, all that stuff, and they're like, wow, I didn't know there's people that look like me doing the stuff that I love to do, exploring the terrains. We went skiing, we went to brunch. Your girl is tired because all this energy and activity, I just did not realize the magnitude of finding a tribe in the travel space. So I just wanted to spin that question to you two guys. What does finding your community or tribe mean to you in travel?
Wow. Simone.
That's
Yes.
good. I'm thinking of it in two ways in terms of when I go to a country and I try to find people who look like me, a community space like that. So that's in regards to going into the areas where I find a lot of Afro, whatever, or Black, however they define themselves in that space. Visiting some of those restaurants and market spaces, and just interacting with the people. And I think that's how I get to find my tribe, my people when I'm in a country. And that brings an extra layer of and perspective of what it means to be there. Like, I remember going to Portugal and I got the recommendation from you about that tour, the tour guide who
The walking
the
tour.
walking tour, and it was talking about what was it being like Black in Portugal, right? And I found communities that were Black or considered or Afro something or African, and so being amongst them and hearing their perspective on what it was like working and living in Portugal added another dynamic, and we were able to talk and conversate about that and my experiences in America and like those similarities. So that was a good resource for me, and like just being able to experience it in that way. But I think too, the second thing I'm thinking about is the tribes, as you said, and being a part of the group travel tribe as well as the solo travel tribe, and like just seeing the excitement and the engagement in it and the activities, and people want to connect and they want to go out to eat, or they want to go find places to do things, right? Different activities. I think it's awesome, right? Because it has led to so much different adventures and people going on their own little trips and just meeting a friend, right? That social connection, I think it's so important for people nowadays.
No, yeah, that is actually good, and I think that's exactly why we created the tribe on WhatsApp. Now we're starting a Facebook, not Facebook, an Instagram
community. Yes.
So the whole point is we created these because we knew people needed space to connect, right? I think a lot of times, as Simone mentioned, when you go outside, you may connect with people in another country. I do think that is easier than connecting with people within your home. I live in New York City, and we all want to connect with people who are like-minded and grow and build together. Church is one of those places that people do that, but I've always been of the opinion, like, I shouldn't be doing everything around church. I should have a life that is built around many different areas. And if we build life in many different communities, life will be so much more dynamic. Some people build life in one community, and when that community falls, they don't have anything else to fall back on. And so that's why, for me, even though, yes, I keep echoing, I'm a Christian, a man of faith, I would have tribes at church. I don't my only friends shouldn't be church friends. I have so many different groups of people that I'm connected with that just makes life a little bit more exciting. And I think within the travel space, that is also important. Hence why building these communities that we have a part of the YBT tribe, the solo travelers tribe, the group travel tribe, because you start seeing people who are sharing different experiences, different information that really lends to a development of a broader group of people. And then when we point to our broader mission, the mission to really, let's bring all of us together, yes, but all of us come together to really inspire and help younger people to travel. Makes, brings mission into it. And,
yes.
So yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
It did. And just to echo back on both of you, it's like, it's easier to find it out there than we find it in here. And then we're so surprised on how many intricacies that we have in our own backyards that we think that we have to travel to Portugal or to other countries to get that same dynamic of different cultures and different perspectives and how people live their lives and how people see certain topics and stuff and how that adds back to traveling. Because now when I travel, for example, like skiing and snowboarding, I didn't know you could snowboard in Chile. I didn't know you could be black snowboarding in Chile. That thought never came across my mind, but because I have certain conversations, even in my own backyard, now I want to travel to Chile to snowboard. And me 2 years ago,
Pro snowboarder.
listen, and me 2 years ago would not have thought of that. Even if I went traveling to Chile and listened to Chileans speak of their own stuff, it took just having a conversation with people at home and that building that tribe and starting making community to be like, oh my gosh, there's some cross layers there that's happening right here. I don't have to travel. I don't have to pay money for this.
Right.
Because us as a black community are so tight-knit. We have one mission to build up ourselves and to make a brighter future, not just for us, but for future generations. And you can feel that energy, even when we don't know each other, building up no matter where you are. We want to have a voice that is heard. We want to have a voice that if we build something in that country, we want it to be known. And I think even in conversations in our podcast, I feel that sentiment with, for example, for Brazil,
Mm-hmm.
where there's perseverance there. And it's like, oh, I can relate to that even I'm here. I've never been to that country.
Yeah.
But we can relate in that sense. So it's beautiful that we get to travel out and we can hear different stories on how to be Black in that space. But it's just as beautiful to find your tribe at home that you can easily access to start having these conversations and start thinking about those cross layers of like, oh, I never thought of this as a Black traveler in that light. So you don't have to pay money to explore those thoughts. You just have to find other Black travelers that are willing to have those conversations with you. And it's that simple, which is amazing.
I wanted to echo on a point that you raised when you said the Black community is tight-knit. I actually disagree with you.
Okay.
I don't think the Black community is tight-knit. I do think the Black community has a lot of shared experiences, but we are so divided. But when we do come together and we recognize how stronger we are together, hence the importance of building these tribes. Because when we build these tribes, we start to recognize like, yo, we all kind of feel the same thing, have the same thing. Because Black people, I think, and people talk about this all the time, we are one of the groups that everyone, if we came together, we can move mountains. Like we talk about like, oh, Black people have some of the biggest spending power within this country. But we probably don't do it as a unit, right? We don't put it together as one group at one thing or things within the same purpose. And I think that's the point of like doing a tribe, right? Bring these people together so they may have these shared experiences. How are they going to grow and connect with each other? Like the educators tribe. You're all in education, so maybe y'all could share experiences, go out and eat and just build community there. Because if you did, then maybe as simple as a job came up. I know someone who is an educator and she or he shares that they love, first of all, we connected based on travel. And so I've learned a little bit about them. Now I'm able to like really connect them. And I think we are not necessarily the most unified group, but our group has the biggest shared connection as a people. No matter where we are, from Brazil to the Caribbean, to the US, to the Europe, we have shared experiences, especially transatlantic Black people, because we all had the same start. Stories may be different where we landed, but they still do connect. But now they try to confuse us along this route, this way, and we've been very separated. Now we all got to come together, hence the importance of building communities and tribes.
You know what? And let that be a challenge then, right? On how can we actually get to the point where we can actually do say that we are tight-knit. And I think what we are pushing in our mission is that you can. There's ways to be. We have a society that has complexities on that we can't be together. There's too many, oh, you're a man, you're a woman, you're this, you're that. And adding so much complexity into things that maybe a simple conversation can fix. Maybe just a simple WhatsApp chat. Maybe a simple brunch. Maybe a simple just going and sharing an experience together can bring some clarity of like, oh, I didn't even know you thought of it this way. I didn't think you would think about it this way. And just having communication with one another, which I would challenge anyone, if you feel isolated in your travels, right? Tribe
or in life.
In life.
That's true.
Because this goes beyond travel in life.
True. Right.
Because I'm going to let you finish your point, because another point that I've also recognized with our people is that when we find a group, like Black people can be very family oriented. And sometimes it's good, but if we are trying to get better or do different, you have to go to something else to really figure out and get better. And so sometimes we stay in communities that are they have the same train of thought and same mindset. And I think that causes us to really not advance as a people. But if we really like connect to different groups and different communities in our own community, we'll be so much far advanced. Imagine black investors connected, or you never had the intention of investing, but you
Right.
connected with black investors. Now you're in this investment tribe.
Correct.
You never had the thought of getting into finance, but you're in this finance tribe. You never had the thought of even owning your own business.
But now
You are connected. You are now thinking about your business. So the point is, when we connect with different groups of people, because one of the things I know I've seen, especially with our people, man, either I'm comfortable by myself, like we can be very comfortable with ourselves, or I'm comfortable with
this group.
this
of
group.
people. Yeah.
And name it worse, our church friends. We are very comfortable with our church groups.
True.
And so the point, and maybe the challenge is, especially when we're thinking about tribes in 2025, 2026, as people, let's think about how we can stretch ourselves
Right.
and do something different. That we still we appreciate it at its root. It may help us a lot more.
Yeah, diversify, which travel does bring, but you should diversify in life, like diversify finances. And I had a conversation with Jonelle on how to diversify with finances as well. Also, diversify knowledge, right? Like, there's so many groups that we have. Like, we have a book reading group where it's like, okay, you read a book, I read a book, we could share knowledge with each other. Solo travelers, even challenging what is solo travel in that space. And allowing us to diversify within the Black community of travel. It's travel in itself is so diversified. It's hard to be in the Black space and not try to like look at different things. So I do challenge, like, hey, if you're going to go into traveling and find a tribe that helps you to diversify your life and your thoughts.
And I was just going to piggyback off just because I think the starting point is finding something that you can connect to, right? So there is the educator tribe, right? So I go into the educator tribe because that's what I know. I'm a teacher, right? So your launching pad is something familiar, but within it, kind of what you're saying is that now through conversations, now I can learn about something new. Like there might be somebody who is an investor or somebody who a skateboarder or whatever, and now I'm intrigued because we connected on education first, but now I'm exposed to something different.
Which also still diversify your education.
Of
So
course.
it doesn't feel like
Of
you're
course.
losing
Yeah.
your root, your purpose, your passion.
Of course. Yeah.
You're just giving it some depth
Of
and
course.
some width
Absolutely.
to it.
Right.
Which as a Black community, sometimes we get used to scarcity mindset, which again, I go back to the recording I had on generational wealth with Jonelle, which was so impactful.
That's the thing that always, so I taught her curriculum,
Yeah.
and that's the thing that I always remember, a wealth mindset.
Yes.
Woo!
A wealth mindset.
A wealth
instead of a
mindset.
scarcity mindset.
Oh.
Yes. It changes.
It's powerful.
It's
Yeah.
powerful.
Many of us have
Yeah.
a scarcity mindset, and
Right.
we don't
People
think
too.
from a wealth mindset.
Right.
With even with just tribe, like just thinking like, oh, there's stuff beyond me that I have to think about, like group trips. I have to think about the dynamics of other group, like other people in a group. How does that look like?
Right.
And it starts more conversation of how am I being in the world?
Yeah.
You know, it's like a back and forth of you join a tribe and you learn yourself in the process.
Absolutely.
So you diversify your thoughts not only of the world but of yourself, of things you don't know about yourself.
And you know, the truth is, and we're talking about the importance of community here, right? And the truth is, I don't know if our people recognize the importance of community, the importance of the connections of people within their community. Also, our community, I don't recognize who is in their community.
And I think that's it. Because I do think we know the importance of community, right? Like that is our background, family and friends, which is a community itself, but we don't necessarily know the value what skill sets people have and how can you utilize it within there, right? Like
and
it's
that's
not
why
just keying.
And that's why we're struggling,
Right.
because you know, there's so many people around us that I don't know if we're tapping in fully to the resources. And you know, first of all, you're in a tribe or in communities where you start conversation, you can strike a conversation, and people may say, okay, well, I have this opportunity, then you could probably use it.
Right.
Or maybe it's not you, it's probably somebody else. But
But you
remember,
don't.
it started from someone within that community.
Right.
And so, to your point, we have to start zero in on the value of the relationships that are around us, because people don't know. Like, I'm a pilot, I'm a flight attendant, I work in the airline industry. Maybe I could, like, you're just standing at the airport. Oh, I now know Simone. Okay, well, Simone works for XYZ. I wonder if she's at work today. Let me give her a call.
Right. Yeah.
That's it.
Simone is a teacher. I have a child who's struggling.
Right.
Maybe she could connect me with someone who
Right.
can really help that student, this, that, and the
Correct.
third. We don't think about that, and we don't know how to utilize
Correct.
these
And I
connections
think
that we have.
people are scared, we're trained to be scared of this world as a Black community. Like, we have so much against us.
It's that trust.
Even within our own community sometimes that are afflicting us. We're not taught to trust and taught to explore. But I hope that our tribe has made it a safe space for people to start to trust people
Yeah.
and start to feel comfortable exploring those thoughts, or like, oh, maybe I could solo travel,
Right.
even though I'm a mom. Oh, maybe I could call up that person who just told me they're gonna go to Barbados or something. Maybe I could,
Right.
go to an educational or something for educators, even though I'm in finance. Like, maybe I could start and feel comfortable in the space to do it, because I feel like a lot of times we may find a tribe, but we
Right.
may not feel comfortable exploring
And we
that
gotta
side.
just start trusting people.
We do.
Like, I think we're talking about this
Right.
before this podcast recording. Some of us don't trust people. That's
Right.
the big problem.
Right.
Like, we gotta be like, okay, I see Simone, I see Krisan. They don't particularly look threatening, so let me open up to them. Let me trust them. You gotta give in to them, and they'll also start pouring out into you. And I think that's one thing that we struggle with, right? You're clearly in a tribe of people who are travelers, so
Right.
maybe I'll trust them that even if I don't know you, I'm okay to go in on a group trip with
Right,
you.
because we share that commonality.
Correct.
And I think what's nice about the tribe as well is that people are starting to ask questions, right?
Yes.
And that inquiry and sense of wonder is coming out because
Oh, yes.
people are asking, like, hey, who has been to this place? Have been your experience? Do you have any tips? Somebody the other day said, I have a conference in Barbados. Who wants to join me? There's already trust being built because
Yeah.
they started from a common place.
Yeah, and it's in the space also that they feel like, you know what, I'm in this chat and everyone has this like one accord mission to just get to know each other and have a good time
Right.
and travel. So they just feel enough like, okay, there's a safe space to start experimenting with trusting.
There's comfort.
There's comfort
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But yes, that's also what it takes to find your tribe. You have to, have the courage to trust people, which
Courage
is a
to
lost
trust.
thing in
That's
the
good.
in the Black community. But we do have to start trusting one another.
Yeah.
If we're gonna build from one another, we have to start having the courage to trust.
Right.
It's scary, but it's good. You get to grow.
You know what has always stuck with me when I was going through my master's program? I always remember my professor. She always went back to the civil rights era and even before then. And she asked a question. So, did you think that they had money back in the civil rights era to be doing a lot of the things that they did? Where did you think that those parents who had kids were leaving their kids? With neighbors and XYZ? These days, nobody want to leave their kid with nobody.
Right.
And so the point that she made, and it sticks with me to this day, because it was from that era where the professionalization of movements started, and so the nonprofit complex started coming in. So let me professionalize these people, give them a role that they now don't trust society. They stop trusting their people to become busy, and so they also stop trusting their communities.
Wow. Yeah.
I was like, dang.
Wow.
because we do
Yeah.
know there are places where a lot of these things aren't like part of community. Like
Right.
when we look at places in Africa, the family structure, the community structure is still a
Absolutely.
big thing.
Yeah.
But I think we have
Depend on
lost
each
it
other.
here.
Yeah.
We have
Right.
lost it in the US.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're an
probably the
individualized
West.
society.
Yeah.
We're taught to do things on our own, we don't trust because you might take something from me if I share that knowledge or share that opportunity with you. And we're taught that. So it's untraining that, definitely.
It may be lost, but it's not gone. So you still have a chance to find a tribe, even when things are working against them,
Right.
you know, especially your own mind.
Yeah.
Again, scarcity mindset. You have more than enough resources in your capital.
Come
Correct.
through generation wealth.
You have more than enough in your hand
Uh-huh.
already. I had a conversation with one of our tribe members who was talking about his background, how he just realized that he can get, because of his lineage, right? Knowing his lineage, he realized that he can get some land, right?
Oh.
And I think there's talk about people getting different passports, and some of it was out of just being scared of being American or visas or whatever. But you don't realize that even your own lineage, you have resource. And some people don't know themselves to know that they themselves are
Yeah.
resourceful in the tri-space. And I think that's also where people get scared. They don't feel like they have enough. Like, I haven't traveled enough. I haven't been to enough places. I haven't tried enough food. What can I bring to the table here as well? So sometimes it's not even being scared of not getting from other people, it's that we're scared of not giving enough to a tribe to be worthy. But you are worthy. You have a rich lineage already. And sometimes it takes taking a DNA test to know, asking your parents, asking the questions of where you come from. You know, that we were robbed of, depending on where you are, the diaspora, or maybe you're in an African country and you're still wondering. You have a rich lineage. Go find out about it. You may not know that you have more than you think. And you can bring that to the table. So finding a tribe is also taking the work to know yourself. You know, to know that you have that resource within you.
I love
To
that.
give.
Right.
You have much to give,
Right.
and that tribe has much to give back to you.
Yeah.
Amen. Yeah.
So we'll go to altar call. We'll pass the offering on that.
Wow.
But I'm glad that these things mean a lot to you, and I hope you feel that when you're looking for your own community, because it's very important, even as a solo traveler, to find a community that can connect with you. So I don't know if you want to share any highlights of bonding with our tribe. I know I've been sharing the snowboarding, which is now called the Winter Explorers because they blew up so crazy from the last two events that we had. That we have to solidify. We have to cool. We have to keep you guys. So
Those were good events.
yes.
I mean, I would say for me, the bonding experiences were certainly that that ski trip. So yeah, you have to join one of these tribes, and next season definitely come on one of these experiences with us. That ski trip, I mean, I think it was just a really good experience. We decided to stay overnight, I think because it was like a 4-hour drive. Some people drove there and they came for the day trip, but a group of us stayed at a cabin on Airbnb. By the way, Airbnb is giving a lot of people problems these days.
Yeah.
Because they want you to clean every little thing. Like
They get a little petty.
They
these
weren't
days.
doing the
these hosts are doing the most.
Yes.
These hosts are doing the most these days. But nonetheless, we had a really nice experience at the cabin. Like, there was a nice breakfast that was made. We had a nice bonding the night before.
Aw.
These moments, I think, are precious. I'm sure everyone who was there,
Yes.
everyone who was in the cabin got to know each other a little bit better. And
That's
so
good.
because there was a lot of people who didn't know each other, and so therefore now I'm sure people are connected, right?
Right.
So you know the resources, the connections that are before you. And even on the slopes, like here now, people from the cabin and then people who just drove up for the day, everybody's meeting different people at different times. It was really, 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 really nice.
I gotta go on the next one.
Well, that's next season.
Next season, yeah, next
that.
winter. next winter. But what I would say, I didn't necessarily get to go on one of these experiences from the tribe as of yet. Yet. But what I have enjoyed though is just the community building that I am seeing from it, right? And the experiences of people sharing like where they're coming from, what they do for work. Like I'm like inspired. I'm like, oh, I need to talk to this person offline because I need that. I need them to speak to me about this thing. So like just even the conversations that are being had, right? Okay, on the even the conversation, yes, that's being had in the chat is just wonderful. Just seeing people connect.
It's beautiful because a lot of us don't know each other, so you have that anxiousness of like how it's gonna go, especially when you're planning events or you're pitching an event and you're like, I don't know if people are going to show up. I don't know if I'm doing a good job. You're just worried about this, that, and the third. But it's beautiful to see it unfold and to learn like that these things can happen in general. Like you could actually have a good time and it doesn't have to be your friends. It could be outside. It could just be being with that community. You know, sometimes we just plan, it has to be this aesthetic, especially with Instagram, this aesthetic, this corner here, this angle, we have to go to this excursion. But it's nice to have one, a simplified event, and two, where everyone could just simply focus on just one mission of just enjoying each other.
Right.
Like I have people on the slopes, right? And I don't know them, but they're cheering me on. For the snowboarding. And I'm like, we barely said hello.
Yeah.
We've been talking on the chat, but we barely said hello. But you are excited for me.
Yeah.
And that is just a
awesome.
Great experience to have traveling. Having a tribe where it's like, I haven't do anything yet, but you're excited for me.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like you're just excited of just the idea of being around me.
Which is
phenomenal.
beautiful.
Yeah,
It's
very
beautiful.
much so.
It's beautiful. And I even want to say, like, even from that trip, like, we recognize the importance of groups and bonding and tribe, and recognize that we need each other, right? Because there was a situation that happened at the end of the trip. One of the tribe members, so she had stayed back at the Airbnb because I think her lesson was at like 12:30. Because we had different shifts leaving out. So I think Krisan was on the earliest shift, I think 9 something. So she had left back because she was just gonna be there at 12:30. And all she just wanted was a lesson and be good and vibe. So she stayed back, and then I started seeing, I left out before her, and I started seeing texts from her asking, I think, where I am. Apparently, when she's trying to leave now, her car is now stuck in the snow back at the Airbnb.
Oh, God.
So, the importance of community and friends and people being there. Your boy had his ski boots on. Now, I'm really trying to get myself together, And if you ever know like how heavy ski boots are, like those things are heavy, uncomfortable. I had my ski boots on and I'm walking up that hill to get to the car.
Oh my God.
And then I'm at the car and I'm struggling to take those ski boots off. To drive back 10 minutes back to the Airbnb because we weren't far. And then to basically help her like get her car out. But this goes to show the power of community and people.
Right.
We are, no man is an island.
Right.
Yeah.
Hence why we need community.
Right.
And we lost that art of just helping somebody else with a car or helping somebody else get a ride to the airport or I have this resource. Do you want to take a ride on my airplane? I think someone had an airplane or something in our chat. And we're like, can we catch a flight, please? But those days where we're open to like helping each other out as a community, I think is lost.
Yeah.
We get too shy. We're like, we get too busy too. Or
we get too selfish. I think a lot of us are becoming... And hopefully this podcast becomes like therapy for us. Let's think on these things that we're saying. we become so individualistic that we start losing the importance of understanding what Simone needs, what Krisan needs, what I need. But also we gotta also mention this too, because there is a lot of people who are also giving, and some people are taking too much, and so we gotta recognize like, how can we meet each other equally?
Right.
And so that we are good.
Right.
You're not burning another person out, and then we're all good at this. So these are the things that our community, I think, we are struggling with.
But we get to explore that.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. Like, we're all not perfect. Some people thought they're givers and they really were takers. Some people thought they were takers, but were really givers. But we don't get to know that in an isolated space.
Right.
We get to know that in the space of travel. Travel really just tests our knowledge of how we move in the world and how we see ourselves. And sometimes it just takes a tribe event, you know, and that space of feeling trust of like, okay, if I do something off, I won't feel offended if you kind of pull me aside and tell me about it. Or I feel like enough where I'm saying something embarrassing to you, like that I don't really tell anybody else or something. But it's just that, you know, we get to figure each other out, and the only way to do that is again having that courage to trust and to expose ourselves, you know. And I think it will even itself out. It's like an ebb and flow. It will even itself out.
But there's also there's safety issues that I feel like we need to also discuss, like in the world today. Like there's a hypersensitivity to like, am I safe? Do I feel safe when I'm stepping out of my comfort zone and doing these new things that is very real for people? And how do we address that? Like before, people would be more open of helping somebody else and doing this, joining a tribe, going with this group I don't know and traveling with them. But now there's this extra layer of, am I going to be safe? Like, especially in this world, like people with guns and all these different things that are going on and violence. Like, how do you balance that of trusting people but making sure that you are also protecting self and being safe in the space that we are occupying, which is real, like the violence and everything that's happening in the world?
I'm gonna echo my girl Tavia, who went to Antarctica and I talked to. You just go. Like, there will be no time that's safer. There'll be no time that's more dangerous. Like, if you rob yourself of opportunities because you have the issue of safety, and she's a female solo traveler who's like, I'm trying to go to every country I could find because this world is too great for me to feel like I'm going to be stuck because of safety. You put your things in place. You don't go out at certain times. You practice wisdom. Of course, practice wisdom when you're finding your tribe. Don't be out here willy-nilly just trusting the whole world and not keep yourself in check, because sometimes we ourselves do stuff to ourselves that's not wise, right? But that shouldn't discourage you to knowing that you can, you know, trust people. You can go to the world. This world's not there for you to not look at. It's crazy. But some people were trained with that mentality that even, you know, segueing to the Eagle Academy, you know, we're trained that New York just has everything here. And that's our safety net. And that's a false safety, because even within ourselves, you know, it's not safe. But we train ourselves that this is the safety net and outside world is not safe. But we give people the tools that, hey, you know, if you just put certain measures in place and you just, you know, be aware of certain stuff, you can do more, right? I think that will address the safety.
So we have to equip people.
You have to find a tribe that will equip you. And I think we found that in the tribe. That's why it's been so special, because we feel like we can equip each other. We could be resourceful for one another. And if you don't feel that, you are. Just discover what resources you actually have. Right. And then start giving it to people and see how they respond. You know? So Yeah, that's the safety.
Okay.
And that's coming from a female solo traveler.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm all for it. I'm just speaking to that person who it might be listening, and that is a real concern for many
That is a
people,
real concern.
right? And so, like, how do we talk about that? Like, yeah, we have the experience of going on these group travel or going even solo, right? But for an individual, this is their first time. Yeah, that sounds great, but how do it look practically for them? So I think, as you said, right, you have to be wise,
Yeah.
right? And
Equip
get
too.
and equip yourself
Mhm.
to be able to do that, whatever that looks like. And that could be starting small with just going on a tribe event, right? Snowboarding, it's more local than going across the world or something of that sort. So you start small and then you build up from there.
And people watch too, and then people want to join that tribe as
Right.
well, which has been happening.
Correct.
Like people are like, wow,
Mhm.
you went to that event
Mhm.
and we posted, and then like all these hundreds of people are like, let's go to the next one.
Right.
So it's very contagious.
Mhm.
Also, when you start to look for your tribe, other people will start to follow you, and your tribe just grows from there.
Right.
You know. So I hope. I think after the snowboard, I was like, I want to take my niece.
Yeah.
Because the disparities I see in certain spaces is that they start from young, right?
Right.
And to snowboard and ski. And I'm like, I want to give my niece a chance to explore that and to be curious younger than I did.
Right.
And that's, I think, the
That's
mission
awesome.
of a lot of people in the tribe chat as well, especially those that have kids, you know. Young Black travelers can have kids. And
Yes,
they do impart that in their kids as well. So it inspired me that, you know, even within my own family,
Mhm.
you know, why not do certain activities?
Right.
And why not expose the future generations to not be as scared as I is, you know?
Right.
By exploring certain things that other races,
Yeah.
other
Early exposure.
that they get exposed early. So why not us? You know.
Absolutely.
Why not us?
But I will segue into the last question I have, which is more of the next generation, right? What advice would you give the next generation of Black travelers on how to find their tribe in the travel space?
That's good.
Start with you, Asshur.
Wow, that's a good one, and I'm gonna be brief.
Okay.
But I would say, just honestly, Instagram, social media is a great tool. That's how you are going to find your tribe more than likely. But also, Simone talked about it. When you travel, usually, sometimes when you travel, you do connect with people who you would have never really connected with. And so therefore, maybe connecting with them would bring you back to a tribe that when you are at home, you can really hone into and grow with them. So I would say in your trips, be intentional, or in your travels, be intentional to make intentional connections with people. But also, as you are on social media, use it as a way to really form connection and bonds with people. But I think there are organizations like YBT out there that is part of the mission, right? So maybe it's also trying to find organizations like us to really start connecting with, because not everyone is for that cause. And so I think those are my two suggestions. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I agree with that fully. Social media is such a great tool nowadays. And I know if you're thinking about a trip or you have special interests, right, use social media to do just that, and use the search bar and type in like whatever it is, cooking or whatever, right? And find a group that is doing that. There's a lot of classes and opportunities, right? And even within that, then you're able to kind of meet people and explore those other things that you might find similar, those similarities that you guys might have, which would lead you to different opportunities, whether that be travel or a resource career-wise, whatever that may look like for you. So piggyback off of social media, just think about your interests and coupling that with it to be able to find your tribe.
Okay. So social media and your interests. I'm gonna go with mindset. I think we have all the tools in the world, and there's some tools that I wish I had when I was younger, that younger generations are blessed to have. but they also have some downsides that I feel sad for, that I didn't have to experience, like being able to wear weird stuff and not like feel like it's gonna be on the internet forever. They have to worry about those things. They have to worry about their image so much, and they're bombarded with like so much stimulants of like the image that they should be or what they think they should be. But I would challenge you to think about your interests with intention. I think intention is missing when it comes to travel, especially with younger generations. They're like, I just want to go here. I just want to go here. It looks great. Why? Why do you want to go to that program? What do you want to get out of it? It's good to pause. We're not trained to pause. We're trained to like fight or flight. But we are in a society that, despite everything, we can pause. So teaching the younger generation to pause and to have intention on why do you want to go to that place? What about it interests you? And start from there and build up on that and build curiosity off of that. So I guess my advice is to think about things with intention, your why, basically. The younger you start with that, I think the more fruitful you'll get in travel and how you see other people of other cultures, especially within the Black community.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be easier to build your tribe from there if you start to approach people and places and travel with intention.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's
I
it.
think
Wow.
I like our tribe. I like our tribe.
Yes,
I like
yes.
the tribe we have. I think we're all coming with the intention of our mission, you know, to inspire the next generation to travel and to build up themselves in this world. So I hope you got that from our conversation. And if you're not part of the tribe, we'll give you an opportunity in our next break. When we come back, we're going to have our closing statements. We are going to play a game because we can't close the season without a little game. And you'll know how to connect with us and how to donate to our mission. So stay tuned.
All right.
Hey everyone, my name is Zonell. YBT or Young Black Travelers means a lot to me. It means community, a group of people just sharing ideas and receiving ideas to better ourselves and to live happily doing the things that we always dream of doing, which can be traveling, which can be making friends or becoming a better us, a better you, a better we. It's all those things.
When I think about the question, what does YBT mean to me? I think that it is an opportunity for me as a young Black woman traveling the world to be able to share my experiences with other travelers, young Black travelers that are interested in having similar experiences, and also being able to give back in terms of, donations at various events to make it a possibility for young people who may have never traveled outside of their hometown to go somewhere beyond where they're from and learn from a different culture and have that rich experience that can only be gained through travel.
Young Black travelers. We're young, we're Black, and we're traveling. I think one of the greatest assets that YBT has is the fact that you get to be a part of a community. And that means a number of things. It means that you get to interact with different people from different walks of life, but you also get to vacation differently or get to travel differently. There might be the professional vacationer. There's also the person who wants to do yoga the entire time, or the one who wants to go off the beaten path. That's me. The person who is a total party animal, and so they can find it. Whatever it is, the perspective that you get and the experience you get is so much different when you do it with people, particularly when you do it with people that are similar to you.
And we're back once more, guys. We're back to our season closer.
It's closer.
My goodness. 11 seasons of just glorious
Of stories.
stories on
Conversation.
stories.
Yes.
We call it a skyscraper. But yes, we are so happy that you have joined us on this season 11 on our conversations of like different stories from Brazil to generational wealth. It's just, I'm just thankful.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's been great. It's been
thankful
very
for-
diverse.
It's been very diverse. And finding your tribe is just so important because the energy they bring at the end is just only going to build you up more and more.
Mhm.
And I hope you got that from our conversation. Now, I'm going to give a shout out first.
Okay.
My shout out is to this tribe member. Her name is Catherine.
Catherine.
Yes, Catherine. We met at the ski trip.
Yes.
She also came again to one of our brunches. And she's just been a joy to be around and to talk to. So I'm going to shout out my girl, Catherine.
Good. Shout out to you, Catherine.
Yeah, shout out to you. And her handle is cat_Simone. So that's K-A-T Simone. Simone's everywhere. But KAT_SIMONE. So follow her page. She got everything there. And shout out to you.
Yes.
Now, we're going to play a game to close out the season, so no pressure.
What will it be?
Well, it will be which country, right?
Okay.
Well, you've been to 1 billion countries.
I know. Yes.
I think, how many countries you've been to?
40 so far.
40 so far. Wow. Give them
Yes.
a round of applause,
Yes.
guys.
That's
Round of applause.
amazing.
And how many for you?
I think 17 or 18.
17. Round of applause.
Yes.
I just hit 10.
Yes.
So I'm proud of myself.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And soon 11.
And
Yes,
soon,
11.
And soon 11.
And soon 11.
And soon 12 with Brazil.
Ooh. Okay.
Stay tuned for that. But which country? I'll give you the list. You already know the deal. And you'll tell me which country out of the billions of countries
Okay.
would you pick for
Ooh.
which topic. So are you ready?
Okay.
Can we do 2? 2
I'll
countries?
allow two.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
But that's the max.
Okay.
You gotta be decisive, okay?
All right.
So which country? So yeah, take care guys. See you later. See you next season. Just kidding. It's your girl Krisan, backed by popular demand, and I'm just interrupting this scheduled broadcast to say thank you. Thank you for sharing your stories. Thank you for listening to our stories and adding on through our community, our tribe. Tribe, you have been a very special part of the season, and to show a token of our love, we're showing a collage of what we've been up to beyond the podcast. So all the things that we've been bragging about, you'll get to see on our closer just for you. And as you're listening or looking at this collage, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with all your loved ones who would be interested to travel as well as a community. And we love you guys. Be sure to travel boldly, fly fearlessly, and have fun. See you next season.
Driven